time. My name is Keston Mattinson. I'm a 25-year public education educator and administrator. I joined School Improvement Network about 2 years ago, and now am the training director here. Very exciting work to be a part of, and I love getting out and meeting all of you around the United States. Had some great success with some people and clients that are embracing a turnaround model or wanting some improvement at their school, and it's been exciting to be part of that work. And so much of today's presentation comes from that experience and from the model that we offer to interested schools about school improvement. So with that, I just want to invite you to use that comment and question button. The more interactive discussion that we have, the better it is for all of us in this learning situation. So please be involved as much as you can. And also know that I've reserved some time at the end for question and answer. So with that, let's get started. We're looking at a personalized success model for school improvement. So what are the objectives? Today we're going to discuss your current needs for school improvement. We will explore and discuss the conditions for successful systemic change and improvement. We'll introduce the phases of our personalized success model, and we will determine some action steps to move forward. All right, any questions about our objectives? Okay, here we go. So I want to begin today with a simple question. What automobile or vehicle would you choose to represent your school or your district at this given time? The current status. What car would you choose to represent the status of your school right now? If you wouldn't mind, go ahead and plug in a comment. Let's see what we have. Do we have some fixer-uppers or some work trucks or a family station wagon or a van? What do we have? What would describe the best vehicle to describe your current status of your school? So if you want to put it in a simile, my school district or school is like what kind of car or vehicle? And then why is that so? Have some answers to justify that. For example, maybe my car is like a van because we have so many kids in our district that we need a big school to house them all. Or maybe my car is like a VW Bug. It's older, has some style to it, but it's older and probably needing some help or repair. You should just think of these things because it kind of gets you in the mindset of self-appraising where you are right now in the form of a vehicle, something that we don't really usually do, but it helps us go down this path metaphorically. So if you have something written down, I want you to keep that in your mind, but also I want you to think of the next best thing. If you could replace that car or upgrade that car, what would that be? What would that look like? Would you keep the car that you have and just fix up some things and tweaks and maybe give it a paint job? Or would you trade it in and upgrade it for a different model? Regardless of your vehicle, we're talking about making improvements or changes, right? And that's what a school improvement plan is all about, is making some improvements. Someone says that a newer car with some up-to-date technology would be nice, right? Maybe those voice command cars start automatically at your sound of your voice. let's explore this concept of change and improvement by looking at what research tells us. We really can learn a lot from the research. So in the early 2000s, a book was published titled Restructuring for Caring and Effective Education by Drs. Vila and Thousand, and later is Adapt by Dr. Noster. And they present a model titled The Conditions for Successful Implementation. The idea here is that there are 5 conditions for successful change and implementation that result in sustainable change. So I want you to think of a time you were involved in implementing something that had sustainable change. Whether it's professional or personal, when have you seen all 5 of those conditions line up and you knew there was success there? I'm certain you've had that experience. I was thinking about one when I was a principal and we were rolling out a new, PLC. That was something that wasn't heard of, and the resistance was high. I had some anxiety. There were some people that were naysayers, all of those things, and it took some time, but we saw sustainable change. You may have more come to mind that didn't have a sustainable change because one of those 5 conditions were lacking. And so I want to dive into those 5 conditions that must be present in order for you to be successful. So I want you to think about vision, right? Without a clear vision of your desired goal, your outcome is always confusion. So I want you to think of that ideal vehicle that you selected for your school or district. Does anyone else share your vision? Does anyone else know that, hey, we're driving this old jalopy and we really want to be in the Lamborghini? Do your people and staff know what your vision is? So I want you to share in the comment section, what are some of the ways or mechanisms that you've used to share your vision or to get buy-in? And it can be on any kind of program or implementation of any kind of change. Anything to do with your school improvement plan that you've tried to roll out. That's part of your vision. How did you get that message out? Some say, well, it was a faculty meeting. Some say at a district it was at the beginning of the school year. The district rolled that out in a meeting where everyone was in place. I know there is that the superintendent has a weekly email that comes out, and that's how they promote their vision. One school has their vision written and put with nice decorative writing right when you walk in their door, and everyone is exposed to the vision. Can you think of some other ways or mechanisms that you've used that you'd like to share? Some people have actually put that vision on their letterhead or at the bottom of their email. So every email that is sent out has a potential of someone reading that vision. Some people actually have said that they've posted that vision on their marquee to make sure all stakeholders have access to that. Okay, let's move on to our next condition, skills. So without the required skills in place, the outcome is anxiety. And you think about it. Let's do a quick exercise. I want you to jot down just as many skills as you can think of that are absolutely necessary for you or your team to have at this time. Just write as many skills. So, for example, I need teachers to have proper certification. I need teachers to be technology savvy. I need teachers to understand the curriculum. Okay? What are some of the skills that you know are absolutely necessary? Just jot those down. This is a great way to look at the desired skills you want your staff, your administrators, if you're a district level, or your teachers to have. And as you're doing that, just put a star by the top priority skills. Which ones are top priority? The list is very long, isn't it? You could be here all day writing skills that you need your team members to have. But as you went through there, just wondering, did everything have a star next to it? You may be right that everything is important, but it doesn't necessarily differentiate them. So all of them could be considered really equal. My dad used to have a saying that now makes a perfect sense to me. He'd say, he would tell me, if everything is important, then nothing really is. I didn't really understand that growing up, but now I get it. We need to begin to prioritize the crucial skills, the necessary skills, and the needed skills. By doing that quick exercise, help give you the focus and direction as the leader to know where you really need to fill in some gaps and holes and reduce the anxiety. Let's go on to incentives. Incentives are always necessary, but they aren't always monetary. So think about some of the reasons that beckoned you into education in the first place. Would anyone like to comment about that? Why did you become an educator? Or why did you decide you wanted to go into administration? What compelled you to do so? I know for me, one of the things I always knew is I always wanted to be a teacher. And I would play school and act it out. And my grandmother was a teacher and my aunt was a teacher. And so it was one of those things that I just always wanted to do. Then it grew into a love for kids and helping children and learn. That I found very fulfilling. So those kind of things don't really have a monetary value. And guess what? Your team, the people that work with you, they joined for similar reasons you did. What you need to do is capitalize on those feelings. And without the external and intrinsic rewards, that resistance will build, and it could possibly paralyze your system. So think about some techniques, simple techniques that you've found successful to incentivize your team. What have you done to incentivize your team? If it has to do with something that is worthwhile to them, it will mean something. Just if you think about praising children in a classroom setting, giving that positive praise is very meaningful. The more you can make it specific, the more meaning it has. So great jobs and attaboys are nice for just simply recognizing a good job. But the more specific of why is it a good job, why was that important to you, that means much more to your folks. Do a quick self-assessment. Here you are, you're rolling out these school improvement plans, you are engulfed in the work, the daily grind, and it is work. Remember, you can't do it alone. You need those folks with you and on board with you, sharing your vision. And the more that you can incentivize them, the more successful you are. Let's go on to our next one. So resources. We are in education, and we are always fighting for adequate resources. True? It can lead to great frustration. I know every one of us has probably been there and done that and felt that. Sometimes we may have the resources and we're frustrated because we don't have the adequate training to accompany them. Ponder this for just a moment. Are you fully utilizing every resources you have to its fullest potential? There's a quick answer. Oh, yes, we are. But think about this. Maybe you're not maximizing everything you have in the trunk, so to speak, of that car. A great exercise is to try to unearth some of those resources. Where could we find some possible hidden resources that are oftentimes overlooked? What could they be? Would any of you like to share some of those resources that you have found to help you in your district or school? Please feel free to do so. I'll just share with you some of the comments. Parents, great resources, and it serves a dual purpose. Getting them involved, getting them in the school. You have a lot of parents who have networks that you could tap into, and all sorts of experience to bring in. Grants, looking at your team talents and their abilities. Sometimes we just don't know our people enough. City councils, local businesses. I know in two of my schools as a principal, there were some hidden rooms that had all sorts of materials locked away that just got put there and forgotten. In fact, I remember going into a classroom and there was a closet that was locked, and of course no one could find the key. And so we were able to get the district there to get us a key to open that closet, and you wouldn't believe the gold mine we found in there. All sorts of math manipulatives that were delivered in the summer, and someone thought it would be very smart to keep it under lock and key and put it in a closet, and that person ended up moving away, and so no one ever knew about these resources. So, you know, it's time to do some spring cleaning. Look around, see what you can find. It will assist you in this process of school improvement. Let's look to the last one, an action plan. Do you have an action plan in place with clear SMART goals, timelines, and benchmarks for success? Here's the thing, a lot of you do because you've had to have a school improvement plan. You're required to. But who else besides you, if you're a district administrator that get those sent to you, or you're a principal or a coach, who else besides you has access to that action plan? How do they know about it? So without a plan, it seems like we're always, starting at the starting line over and over again. Our staff has sometimes, and I think, become conditioned to just waiting it out and seeing if it will stick. An example of this, I remember I was appointed a principalship at a junior high, and I had a teacher that just refused to jump in and embrace our RTI model that we had worked extensively over the summer and built in and incorporated into the school day, and I thought everyone was on board. But this individual was not, and very resistant, and I had a conversation with him because he was really holding his department back, and frankly the whole school. It was interesting what he told me. He said, I'm just going to give it 3 months to see if this fades away like all the other initiatives. And it struck me how sad it is that sometimes our staff members become desensitized to growth and innovative ideas and initiatives because we haven't had a clear action plan and it hasn't been made available to everyone. And everyone needs to have skin in the game. He really didn't have a part in that action plan besides at between 11 and 11:30, we'll have time devoted for Tier 2 intervention. That was it. So it helped me understand the importance of making sure everyone has some understanding of it and that there's accountability in there as well. All right. We also offer assistance at school improvement with strategic planning, and it's called boot camp. I'll explain that in a few slides here, but we've had great success with it. So here is a display of all of the 5 conditions, and you can see the outcomes. And one thing I recommend, whatever position that you're in, because we all are in the business of implementing and improving every day, that you put this somewhere that you can share with your team that will remind you of, okay, why is this not working? You know, on those headache days when you just think all of your efforts are for naught, take this out and look at it. Where are the components that are missing? Is it the vision? Do people understand the vision like I understand the vision? Are they passionate? Maybe not. So it just helps me to keep things in my mind, in the forefront, that all of these conditions, research has proven it, that need to be in place for sustainable change. So let's see. Let's go to our next. I love this quote by Stephen Covey. It's in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You can't change the fruit without also changing the root. Why don't you think about that? Many times in education, we pick all the apples from the tree, and then all of a sudden, we expect it to be a peach tree. Somehow we think that removing the fruit will miraculously change the root, but it won't. So in order to have sustainable change or to switch fruits, we have to dig deep, examine the root, be realistic, and make the necessary changes. So as you think about this concept in this quote, think about the vehicle you selected. What roots need to be changed there? If you just simply give it a paint job, will it change the system? If you add some details, will you still have the same engine? Okay, something to think about. So here at School Improvement, we've developed a comprehensive 6-phase personalized success model that can assist you in rebuilding or upgrading your vehicle, so to speak. So we're currently working with schools and districts all over the country in their process of school improvement. And we're finding huge gains, achieving around their goals, and transforming their schools from good to great. So I'll give you a basic overview of each phase. Even if you are in a turnaround situation, or you're flying high in 5th gear and you just need to make some tweaks, and it is a model that you can incorporate into wherever you are and whatever system you're working in. A lot of these components within this model, I will tell you, are aligned with state and federal guidelines within Title I. So it will match with your school improvement plan. If you're a Title I school, these are some of the elements that are absolutely required by law. And so not everyone has to do those, but you will see different parts of the phase that will speak to you, that will be, hey, this is what I need. So first of all, we start up with the project initiation. When you partner with us, we make sure that there's a statement of work right up front, and you know what the deliverables are and what can you expect. We also have a meet and greet with our partner success manager, which is really a nice bonus to have, because this manager is trained in management skills. A lot of them have been professional managers have the qualifications and certifications around project management, and they help you in tracking your success. They assist you in this process from A to Z. They outline the scope of the outline of the project, and they document. It's great. That relieves you of having to do all of the managerial jobs and as well as being an instructional leader. Let's look at the next phase, and that is the appraisal phase. If you are a Title I school, you'll recognize this because this is required that you have by law. We do staff, parent, student, admin surveys. We do interviews and classroom observations. And those are put through the rubric that is federally given and give you an actual appraisal report with your demographics and data that have been collected as well. And so from that, the appraisal is presented to your staff and possibly to your board. And so everyone understands where we are, what is our current status, where are the holes, where are the gaps, where are the things that we're doing extremely well. So we look at that. And a needs assessment is a critical component to your success of your school improvement plan. We actually work with you to create the school improvement plan and give you suggestions based on the appraisal and the data and build that report with you. How many times as a principal I wished I had someone to handhold me through this. It's pretty much, as a principal, I remember it fell on me as one of my prime duties was to have that school improvement plan done by X date every year. And I didn't really have the expertise or the help or the resources to do an adequate needs assessment. And having someone there to actually assist me in that would have been a godsend, really. So this is something that we're finding with the schools that we're working with has been extremely powerful, because a lot of times the appraisal is from the hip, our gut. And gut checks there's nothing wrong with, because usually we're accurate, but we want to be pinpoint accurate here. We want everyone to have an opportunity to say and voice their opinion. We want not just a narrow cross-section. It's wide and broad. So the appraisal process is critical. The next phase of our success plan is our strategic planning boot camp. This is an exciting piece. We look at your school improvement plan and we integrate that as we go through this strategic planning. It's a 2.5-day event where we meet with district folks, administrators, leaders, curriculum directors, IT directors, and we go through your vision and outline a 1-year action plan that has goals that are specific with accountability, benchmarks to analyze the continuous success of your plan. And we scope out a 2 to 5 year plan with those goals and objectives that need to be achieved in that time. It is a very powerful experience, and you walk away with all of that done. It isn't expected that you have to go back to the district or the school, and now we have to sit down together and decide really what we want to do. No, it's done there. Everything is even outlined of how do we roll this out? How do we message this to our folks? We look at possible roadblocks that could come in your way. It's a very thorough examination of where you want to be and then a plan to get there. Okay, let's look at another phase using Edivate. This is our platform, and how this works, we import the Active Directory and get your users lists loaded so you can utilize the tools within your system to align with your school improvement plan and your strategic plan. There are many, many tools in the system to assist you and to bring your PLCs to the next level digitally. So your folks can have the tools and resources that they need to sustain them through this process of improvement. You can view other educators teaching. You can access quality lesson plans, collaborate with others, share and store resources, conduct observations, share recommended video, much, much more. Build a course. The list goes on and on. All of those things are designed to help you, assist you in this transformation process of school improvement. The next phase is an initial kickoff with your staff or your district staff to get things going, to help assist in this event and to get everyone on board. Okay, we do K-12 instructional and administrative on-site coaching and consultation, all designed around the appraisal, the school improvement plan, and your strategic plan. It's aligned. Everything works together. I remember being a district coach and going out to schools, and it was knee-jerk at best because we'd go into one class and they need something, another class, another thing. We can personalize this, but it needs to also be aligned with what do we want to achieve here? What will be the best for systemic-wise for our district or school? And we refer to the appraisal, the data. The data will speak to it, and the plans that we've made. Our teams are able to offer expertise in any grade level, any subject area. We work with individuals in the classroom to promote learning at high levels. Our award-winning facilitators will assist your team. They can assist them in planning, modeling, co-teaching, coaching, observing with feedback, their instructional design with evidence-based research to back them up. And we have great success with that. It's really where the rubber hits the road. Not only for teachers, but also for administrators and coaches as well. All right, finally we have our last phase being the data analysis and reporting. So remember when I talked about our Partner Success Manager, they have regular status calls with you, however often you prefer. And they do regular monthly and quarterly data reports. What are the usage numbers telling us? How are we meeting the objectives of the plan? And they look and follow your school improvement plan and your action plan and keep you up with those objectives and goals that you outlined. They also provide an overall project status monthly report for you. So that working with that Partner Success Manager in your journey from A to Z, they will provide the confidence to the fidelity of your school improvement plan. They're your main form of contact that will keep in contact with you, keep you updated. It is the way to transform what you have to that desired vehicle you imagined from the beginning. So there's our personalized success model. And as you look at it, some of you may be thinking, you know, I really probably don't need everything there, but man, that strategic boot camp planning would be ideal. Or maybe just having someone come and do an appraisal and get a real feel for what's going on and what's needed. That's possible too. It just doesn't really matter what you need. You can decide the scope of that and where to start. As I was saying, maybe you are at the car that's in the shop every day or every week, or maybe you're on the road to success, but you need to make a few tweaks and adjustments. That personalized success model offers you assistance with a full comprehensive turnaround model or just bits and pieces, like I said, for those isolated gaps or problems that need fixing. So what are your next steps? What do you do here? we've talked about some things to do, but as I've been there sitting in your position, the best advice I can give you right now is self-assess the phases that are critical to your success by identifying what are the predominant emotions that your staff is feeling right now. Find out which, you'll find an array of feelings, but what's the predominant one? If you can isolate that, then you can move forward and see, okay, it's confusion. I need to convey our vision better. I need to communicate that. They aren't knowing where we're going or headed, right? So try to isolate the predominant emotion, and that will lead you to one of those conditions that need to be in place for your school improvement plan to take root. Log in to Edivate and look at some of the training modules to help you. Maybe that's something that you need. Or reach out to your partner success manager, or if you have a project manager at this time, talk to them about this model and where you feel like your needs are and how they could give you some suggestions. At this point, I'm open to some of your questions. What are some things that popped in your head that you would like to know more about? I don't see we have very many questions at this point. This PowerPoint will be sent to you and made available to you, where you can think about it some more and reach out in any way possible. We're here to help you. And I thank you for joining me today. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, Keston. Please, if you have any questions, feel free to write them in. And if not, we appreciate your time, and we hope this webinar is valuable. We do have a quick poll really fast. I just want to throw it out there. There it is.
The clouds move over Pontiac skies. Their silent thunder matches mine. I know this feeling from now.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone.